So, Bernice gave me the news this morning. Donald Trump won New Hampshire. But it was close. It was 54% to Nikki Haley, 46%. I was watching CNN earlier in the evening, and CNN kind of weren't 100% sure. They knew it was good. They thought it was going to be close because just voters that they were speaking to at some of the polling stations, a lot of them were saying they're voting for Nikki Haley. So how about that? Apparently Trump was angry. After winning, he was still angry, and he was insulting Nikki Haley, and he even said that Nikki Haley should be arrested, something along those lines. The crazier Donald Trump is, the more insulting he is, the more bizarre he is, people just love him more and more. What is it? Why do people, Americans, want Donald Trump? Can they not find a better Republican candidate? Obviously not. And I think you need to be a psychologist or some kind of person who studied the psychology of why people vote for certain characters. I don't think it's got anything to do with actual policy or what Donald Trump did. Was his presidency successful or not from 2016 to 2020? What is it about Donald Trump? What qualities does he have that appeals to these Americans? And I'm thinking they like a bad boy. So when Donald Trump is I don't know, insulting and makes rude joke, puts people down, in other words, he's like a bully. I think a lot of Americans love bullies. They like bullies. And he's seen as this alpha male, successful kind of person in business, whatever. I think Americans, a large majority of American society, they grow up with this competitive, aggressive kind of attitude. You know, like, what's the worst insult you can give somebody? You're a loser. You're a loser. Like, God forbid you're a loser. Some of my best friends are losers. You know, somebody's got to be a loser. Not everyone's a winner. So they see Donald Trump as a winner no matter what. He's got about 91 indictments against him for God knows what. Fraud. Is it embezzlement? The biggest one is the insurrection on January the 6th, 2022, 2021. 3 years ago, 2021. And they love that. It makes him more popular. He's fighting the fight. He's a bad boy. He doesn't play the rules. That's why they love him. And then I think another side of it, you may not like but he's got personality. He's entertaining. People just love him. He can stand there and just talk rubbish and make jokes, and people love it. That's what it is. That's how I think a lot of men like they see him as a role model. Why do women vote for Trump? I don't know. Is it low self-esteem? Do they want men to be like that? Grab them by the pussy. I mean, really? You're going to vote for somebody who says grab him by the pussy? And he was found guilty of sexual assault, for crying in a bucket. Okay, it was a civil case. But come on. Can you believe it? But here is the irony. Like, if I was the Republicans, I would push for Nikki Haley rather. Because if Nikki Haley wins the Republican seat, whatever you call it, she's got a good chance of beating Biden. Because Biden's, the perception around Biden is not so great. Because the whole thing about him being very old, and he doesn't speak well, all that kind of stuff. But if Trump comes against Biden, Biden has beaten Trump before. And a lot of Americans don't want another Trump presidency. So the Republicans might want Trump. But the American electorate overall, between the Republicans and all the Democratic voters, they will choose Biden. So maybe during the Republican convention, just before the presidential election, I think it's around September, October, I think. Maybe there'll be a lobby within the Republicans to push, even though they all love Donald Trump, they think he's the best, they might push Nikki Haley because they might reason that Nikki Haley's got a better chance against Biden. Look, that's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. I don't know, what do you think? It affects the whole world, what happens in America. So, why, Damon, why are you obsessed about American elections? It affects the... Back in 2004, if Al Gore had beaten George W. Bush, the world would have been a very different place today. America may very well not have invaded Afghanistan and Iraq for weapons of mass destruction. I think Al Gore would have been sensible enough to know, hey, there's no evidence of weapons of mass destruction. We'll be in a different world, in my opinion. There you have it. So, a bit of feedback. You remember I did a show with Steve Marx 2 or 3 days ago, and I encouraged Steve to start a podcast. Well, Steve started a pod. He did a podcast. So look him up. It's just 5 minutes long. I watched it. I said to Steve, lose the cap. Lose the cap. You can't do a podcast wearing a cap. He's upset. Look, I understand he wears a cap in normal life. It makes sense. The man's bald. Caps suit him. But not for a podcast. You lose the connection. Looks like you're hiding. You lose the engagement. Caps are big, hey? Have you noticed a lot of men wear caps? It's not for everybody. Not for everybody. I see a lot of these men walking around in the shopping center wearing caps. Don't know what they're thinking. So it works for Steve. Don't get me wrong. But caps are more for the youngsters, for the teeny boppers. Caps work. But you get these middle-aged men, these men in their 50s, 60s, they're wearing caps. The word is maneuvel. They look maneuveldik. They look modest, man. My one brother-in-law, he wears a cap all the time. All the time. I don't know, what are you hiding? What are you hiding? It's not so cool. It's not so cool. Anyway, that's the feedback I gave Steve. Lose the cap, looks like you're hiding. Okay. Content-wise, I can't discuss content-wise. You know, Steve's all right-wingy. I can't condone what he says. He still goes on about I think he said this, but something about South Africa being a proxy to Iran, or was that in our discussion? Who remember? Anyway, he's still carrying on with his right-wing rhetoric. Look, there's a place for it. Right-wing podcasts are huge. People are angry. I think a right-wing person is more passionate and aggressive than a left-wing person. People who watch, a right-winger will love a right-wing podcast. They love it. They're passionate. Left-wing people are more just relaxed, sensible. They got lives. They move on. They got other hobbies. They're reading books. They're watching Netflix. They're doing other things. You know. A lot of these right-wing people, they fill themselves up with conspiracy theories and they think it's news. I don't know if I told you this. I know a man, sort of like, not a friend, I just came across him, talking about the terrible massacre of October the 7th happened a few weeks before. And he said to me, do you know that Joe Biden financed that massacre? I looked at him. Huh? I don't, where do you get that from? So he says, Oh, when Joe Biden freed up there was money that was frozen in the banks due to sanctions against Iraq. That money was released. Can't remember, there was some agreement with Iran. So Iran used that money to finance Hamas's attack on Israel. Oh. Where do you get this from? I mean, Hamas must have, they spent at least a year planning that attack, that attack. At least a year. Apparently they were practicing, and they saw them in their paragliders practicing. What do they think? There's a new paragliding club in Gaza. I mean, really? Ridiculous. So I asked this guy, what are your news sources? Where do you hear this from? What are your news sources? So he says some French TV news channel, and he couldn't remember the name of it. Then he mentioned Newsmax. Newsmax is like this very discredited right-wing rubbish in America. And then my favorite, this is the doozy. I subscribe to some WhatsApp groups. 2 or 3 WhatsApp groups. Those are my news sources. How can a WhatsApp group be a news service? Give me strength. Give me strength. Something that got my attention, speaking about disinformation and whatever. You know, Elon Musk, the new owner of, it was called Twitter, now it's X. He's been accused of using the X platform, formerly known as Twitter, as a platform for conspiracy theories, anti-Semitic posts, racist, because Elon Musk is of the opinion that there shouldn't be no censorship at all. So I don't know what's going on. Elon Musk went to go visit Auschwitz. The Auschwitz Museum, well, it's now called the Auschwitz Museum. The death camp, the concentration death camp in Poland, where, you know, millions of people were murdered in gas chambers. 2.5 million Jews, I think. It was like the biggest concentration camp. The most famous, or the most well-known, the most notorious of all Nazi death camps. So Elon Musk visited. So people are commenting, they're saying, why is he doing this? Is he doing it to show some kind of teshuva, remorse? Hey, look at me, I'm Elon Musk. Listen, I'm interested in this kind of stuff. So Elon Musk arrives at Auschwitz. I mean, haven't those people suffered enough? Can you imagine? I'm suspicious. I'm a cynic. I'm suspicious. Why would somebody like Elon Musk want to go to Auschwitz? I mean, I'm worried. Call me paranoid. Does he want to buy? I'm worried that he wants to buy Auschwitz and rebrand it. What is he going to call it? The X. Oh my God. X marks the spot. Work shall set you free by the... Oh my Lord. So where does it all start? I mean, this is how it started with Twitter. Elon Musk was a big tweeter. He was on Twitter. He was visiting Twitter, examining the platform, looking at the environment. How could he change Twitter? How can he improve Twitter? Oh my God. So he's made one visit to Auschwitz. Maybe he'll be back next week. If he's back next week or even next month at Auschwitz, that's the sign. That's the sign that Elon Musk... You know, because look, the Auschwitz Museum is not for sale. I tried to look it up. I went to Google, who owns the Auschwitz Museum? Wouldn't give me an answer. But I assume it's the Polish government and their department, their history or their cultural department maybe. So it's not for sale, but you know, look, I didn't think Twitter was for sale between you and me. I mean, imagine, can you imagine? Changes Auschwitz. I mean, he probably thinks he can make Auschwitz more profitable. Turns out you don't actually pay. For an unguided visit, you just walk around by yourself. Think you wear headphones with the tour. You don't pay. If you want a guided tour, I think you do pay. He'll want to monetize the place. He'll want to. If you're an Auschwitz survivor getting it for free, bring your family half price. If you've got grandchildren, quarter price. What crazy thing is he going to come up with? Can you believe? I mean, he might want to zhuzh the place up, change it completely. Oh my God, what a travesty! Can you imagine being you're on the Auschwitz tour, and there's Elon Musk in your group? Oh my God! It reminds me of that time I once went to a museum in Melville. Melville is a suburb in Johannesburg. It's near the SABC, funnily enough. There's a museum, a house that from the mid to late 1800s, where everything is in the original place from the 1800s. The tour guide, the woman who gives you, she's all dressed up in old clothes. When I was at 5FM, we all went as a group. And Leanne Mole and Gareth Cliff and Thabo Modisani and Sias du Plessis and Mabali Malloy and myself. Oh my God, Gareth, bless him, because he knows everything. He starts finishing the guide's talking. He finishes her sentences. He starts a sentence that she never even thought that she was going to say. He tries to take over the tour. He even corrects her in certain places, and she looks at him. I could see she's not happy. Elon Musk, I can just imagine Elon Musk. Elon Musk probably did the same. If you went to Auschwitz last week and you were in Elon Musk's group, you probably want to go back because you want a nice tour without Elon. I want to go back to that museum in Melbourne without Gareth, because he knows it all. Oh, you know those people. I read it up. It's a psychological thing. People that are very, very successful or highly, highly intelligent in something or in general, they then think they know everything. They think they're an expert in everything. I can imagine Elon Musk is no different there. He probably said to the tour guide, no, that oven was only used in 1941. Yeah, the serial number on that Zyklon B canister was actually X3. God knows. God knows what he did. All I can say is that it's not the end of Elon Musk and Auschwitz. I know it's terrible. Maybe I'm just creating a scenario because I'm coming up with something that's extremely unlikely to happen. But if it does happen, you'll think I'm amazing. I don't know, watch this space. I'm telling you now. And God knows what, Elon Musk might take over, he might take over all the concentration museums in Europe. Dachau, Bergen-Belsen, oh my God. With lots of money, with billions and billions of dollars, anything is possible. I'm telling you.